Hello and welcome to Mr. Judge's Courtroom. I'm your host, Mr. Judge. Today we're not looking at any videos today. Today I'm going to be on a personal level with you guys. Now, the thing I want to do this live video for is to kind of explain, because I haven't made it very clear, what my political views are and why I seem to go after feminists, liberals, SJWs, and all that. So, first of all, I'm gonna go list by list. First, I'll explain why I hate the social justice warriors, and the reason why I hate social justice is because it's completely retarded, honestly. Because it's constantly, it's pretty much a hate group. Essentially, it's constantly they take over social medias. They perform all these tests, and all these tests are just to prove how evil and discriminatory and just look at this conspiracy that white people are booking up. Minorities, they're just oppressed. We've got to save them. We've got to do something. It's just constant. That norm is just so constantly put into their ideologies that the idea that minorities aren't oppressed is just so, or that whites don't have privilege is just so oppressive to them that they vile you and hate you and consider you either a puppet or a racist, or they'll think you're working for someone, you're the man behind the man. You're the one making the cheddar off of this deal. That's how they act. And pretty much they just try to spark racial tensions all under the case of, justice, basically. Now, that's the reason I hate social justice. Now, I hate feminism because of its gender supremacy and overall craziness. It constantly claims to be, anyone who's actually studied on the history of it knows that it's no longer the civil rights movement that it once was. It's gone from that norm to now it's all about supremacy. And haven't you noticed that no matter what you do, they always try to say there's some problems here, that there's some reason it still needs to be around? I mean, think about it. First we had third wave, and man, was that for an entire decade we had third wave, and oh my god, was that shit annoying. The fucking try to ban the word bossy, take away Father's Day, castration day, fucking all types of bullshit from third wave. And now it's even expanding into fourth wave. Now there's feminist friendship. Now Emma Watson has tried this whole, what was it that she said? What was it? Emma Watson did something not too long ago. Damn, I can't remember what it was, but what was it? Something hashtag something. You guys might want to look it up. I can't really remember what it was called at the time. Well, basically, it was all feminist, and I've even heard Emma Watson say, "Oh, my teachers were feminists, even though they never considered themselves one. They were." It's a cancer, pretty much. It spreads and leaches onto everything, claiming to be the reason, claiming to be the only thing that helps, and it's fascist Nazism in the terms that, oh, there's one gender that's supremacy, the other out of the two, the other is incomplete, it is inferior and must be purged from the earth. That's where it's in Nazism, and it's a religion in which it believes it presents itself as this all-knowing, only way, everyone must follow. That's pretty much how it goes on to the religious part. And honestly, there's no reason for it to be even around. They constantly claim, there's some issues. We need to help. We do suffer from inequality. What inequalities can you fucking make? Well, cat shaming. Really? Fucking really? That's all. Yeah, that's all you got. There's no reason for it. There's absolutely no reason for it. Now, I hate the BLM for many great reasons, and none of you guys try saying, oh, it's just because I'm white and I'm racist. Any SJW who feels like saying that, kiss my fucking ass. Now, the reason why I hate the BLM is because it's sort of similar like the SJW, like SJWism, pretty much, claiming to be oppressed. It's just a racist, hateful group, just like SJWism, but a lot more common and a lot more noticeable. Because, I mean, Black Lives Matter, well, that's racist alone because that's saying only Black Lives Matter. And yet these BLM supporters who claim they're not black supremacists and they're pro equality and racial qualities, yet they get so mad at the idea that all lives matter. You're such a villain when you say all lives matter. They're too stupid in the head to realize you're talking about them too. It's why I fucking hate them. Now, I hate I hate the leftist party, liberals, because they do nothing for Americans. They have done nothing for you. They're pretty much corrupt group that I honestly don't consider the leftist party American anymore. I absolutely don't. And you want to know why? Because ever since Donald Trump got elected, they have been not caring about other Americans. In fact, you can look it up. There was a time where a deceased war hero was announced at the White House, and the liberals didn't fucking care. Didn't fucking care. All just because Trump was talking about it. That is just disrespectful. Then there was the Russian hacks. Then there was the, oh, he's involved with Putin, blah, 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 he's violating this, blah, 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 since the moment the man was in office. It's been endless, and even the FBI doesn't listen to him, even though they're legally required to. Governors trying to change their state into sanctuary states, despite not having the power to do so. It's just complete and utter bullshit. And that's why I fucking hate the leftist party. Now, all of these groups, I consider them connected because if you look at the SJWs, they support the leftist party. You look at the feminism, hell yes, they support the leftist party. They hate conservatives, they hate Republicans because we're all about keeping the laws as they are, and these groups don't want to keep the laws as they are. They want to change it. They want to take it to where they can be victims, get money from the government for repercussions, but at the same time be racist to you, and then demand that you are a racist just being born who you are. You are a racist. And if you deny this, you have privilege. And if you deny your privilege, you're part of the problem. These people want that as a reality. They want to be mandated by law. And we are not going to do it. And because of this, there's never an endless of them of protests, yada, 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 yada. There's never an endless, oh, I'm so oppressed. You are the monsters. And it's just never fucking ending. Never. And if you actually realize this, the feminazis have actually taken over a lot of... And what sucks about these groups is all of them in general have taken over social media. The SJWs pretty much have BuzzFeed, and they make endless tests to prove privilege or whatever. Ludicrous tests. The feminists have taken over blog sites and Tumblr. Well, they've always had Tumblr, so maybe we shouldn't count that. But they've also had they have also taken large control of Wikipedia, even changing their definition. The actual definition of feminism, its original one, is the women's advocacy. God damn, it's been so long since I actually seen it. I'm having a hard time speaking, guys, so just give me a minute. All right. The advocacy of women's rights on the equality to men's rights. That was the definition. But but now they've changed, and they made and then for a decade they kept claiming feminism was for equality. It is by definition it's equality of the sexes, and we'd argue back, no, it isn't. Look up the Wikipedia. Now they make multiple different definitions of it. Some saying the economic and social advocacy of the equality of the sexes. On Wikipedia, it says the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the sexes, grounds of equality of the sexes. These are not even year-old definitions. It's really funny how they're gonna make up definitions like mansplaining and fucking what else was it? Misandry and what other words have feminists made up of? Misogyny and just a load of fucking fake words that they'll protest. That is true. It's on Wikipedia. It's true. Yet they'll cuss you out for saying, oh well, that definition that they made up isn't true, and really, it's really fucked up on how that goes. Now, don't get me wrong on me not liking feminism. I am not an MRA or a MGTOW, and the reason why is not because I hate these groups. It's just I don't see them as much different than the feminists themselves, being as they both claim to be civil rights activists, gender rights activists, despite there being no neither side needing actually any rights or denied any rights. They don't seem necessary, in my opinion. Like, in terms of rights, because man or woman, you all have the same rights. We all have the same rights. Now, they do make some good claims when they talk about treatment, because when they argue about the treatment between men and women. And yes, they are right. Society usually society as a general usually favors women over men. This is very true in the fact that in child custody laws, in child cases, and parents' custody cases, they tend to give tend to have the advantage in those court cases than men, no matter what it is, solely based on gender. And men do get more time in prison and jails than women do. Now, these are stuff we can talk about. These are stuff we can make petitions about, raise awareness on it, and then have it changed, and then appeal to Congress and have this changed, let them do the whole debating, yada yada. That is perfectly fine. Now, when you want to take these issues and be, we need rights, that's where I'll be, okay, I'm not with you. Because MRA, MGTOW, you don't need any more rights than the feminists do. Neither you need rights. Now, MGTOW and MRA, you do make some good points on not so great treatment, and I do believe we should, make an effort to kind of change those norms. But you being a rights activist as a group, and I certainly can understand a lot of your criticism against feminists, but as a group of rights activists, I think you're completely unnecessary in terms of rights. You could be useful in terms of raising awareness of some unfair actions done by the system that we're using, or to correct something, but we don't need you for new rights. We simply don't. Then we have and then that's the BLM also. God, when I get to talking about these things, guys, they get me so angry, my mind starts scrambling, and I start choking on words, because my mind races too much for me to actually say out. So give me a sec, guys. Okay. Now, the now the how they're all can, and if you notice about them, and what the BLM do is they pretty much go on the media, on the Fox News or whatever, and argue with spokesmen like O'Reilly and say, "Yeah, pissed. Have you seen the cops shooting us? It's white on black, blah 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 blah." When in reality, it's actually black on black, and cops, even on a statistical level, don't just go around killing blacks, the just as the BLM members say. Not to mention they're very advocate on they're very actually how should I say this? They're pretty much terrorists, honestly. Like they go on riots, they assault people. They've had even a case where a few supporters kidnapped someone and and actually tortured him, even scalping him. And they well, let me put it this way: when the BLM, when the attack on Paris in 2014 took place, most people were sad, sorry. A lot of people even put things on French flags on their profiles to show that how they support you, how they support them, and are sorry for them. Now, for the most part, on my case, I don't really see the point in a lot of them. Like, I didn't really see what a French flag on your profile did, but I could certainly see the gesture in it. And but the BLM had a whole different message. They were all fuck Paris. They even made a fucking rap song saying fuck Paris, fuck Paris, fuck Paris. And it's just disgraceful. And the reasoning for this is because France 100 years ago had slavery, one of the longest slavery, even after the Emancipation Proclamation and the Civil War. France still had many slaves and blah 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 blah. And that was their excuse. Hundreds of years ago that they did not face by people who did not do it are deserving of death and murder. What sense does that make, people? And I've noticed that all their ideologies are very similar. Not the same, but similar. Let's see, the SJWism believes that that minorities are inherently bad, are bad in terms of let me rephrase that minorities are suffering inherently, is what I meant to say. And pretty much when they're saying this, they mean that even though they may have the same laws, same school and education, just being a minority, just because your people's past had a history of being oppressed, you're just inherently oppressed. It's in here, apparently, to them. And you deserve reprimands. You deserve everything given to you because of this. And their main enemies are the Republican conservatives, like me, and whites in general, claiming, even though a lot of them are white, claiming that they hate that whites are just privileged group that don't care about minorities and should be disenfranchised, imprisoned, or killed, or force taxed, all in the percents of making equality. Now, the feminist ideology is pretty much that females are superior to men are oppressive, rapist pigs, and blah 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 blah, and that while the feminist main group is basically just female supremacy, they do share in similarities that they don't like white men very much, despite majority of them being white. That's where they're similar. Well, actually, now that I think about it, if you look at all of them, they all hate whites. When you think about it, the BLM hates whites. The feminism hates whites, but more on a gender based than racial. And SJWism hates whites. They all hate whites, They all believe that there's a privileged class. They all believe that there's a secret Illuminati arranged everywhere. And they need to stand up and rise against the oppressors. That's how they act. That's how they see it. And a lot of them, are based on communist ideas, basically. When you think about it, all of them want minorities to be privileged to the point that they are no different than the ones that they are against, while they want the majority to slave and lose everything and give everything for the sake of the good of society, for the good of common purpose, for the good of the people as a whole. So majority work just to live while minority gets to live and prosper. That's communism. And that's pretty much what they want. And it's honestly sad because a lot of what they do represents the enemies that we believed we had defeated before. The SJWism and BLM, as in the racist supremacists like the KKK, we defeated them. Yet here they are in different versions in different forms, different versions, rising again in attempt to seize power, like they always did. And then you have Nazism in a different form, like feminism, also known as Nazi feminists, who, while only having mildly racial hatred towards each other, they mainly just want to be a superior, some master gender rather than a master race. So they all represent enemies that we've already defeated and should have been gone, but like cancer, they grow and become new forms. Even if you chop, 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 there's still going to be new forms of it. And you chop, 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 and they're still going to be there. It fucking sucks. But at the same time, there's going to be people like me, the jury, and other people like the Amazing Atheist, though he's a bit of a sellout, and that guy T, who's actually pretty smart. Who else? And an endless number of unnamed people. You know, like the MGTOW and the MRA, even though I don't believe in their whole rights cause, I do think they do serve a great purpose in criticizing feminism and saying, fuck you, you're this, you're that, blah, 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 blah. It all serves a purpose. And that's the judge's political views. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you later.